Has Ruben Amorim chosen his next Manchester United signing? The Garnacho sale pretty much determines what window we will have, what striker we will sign, and if we'll get the striker we want. But could Garnacho stay? Could Amorim have a change in mind? Could there be some twists? What is the latest on Garnacho's sale? What is Garnacho's stance? Because look, he wants to play football. The World Cup is coming up. Amorim reveals he has big plans for Mainoo, but let's start with a positive. Cunha and Mbeumo are settling in well. Got a couple updates on them. We're going to start positive. We'll get into the news. We'll get into the stories and all of that. Let's get right into it. But hello, and welcome back to Alice Talks Football. Welcome back to your daily 10-minute late night roundup. We'll round up all the latest Manchester United news into a 10-minute video for you guys. Again, I apologise that this video is going out late. I try and get my late night roundups for 10 p.m, but I was just busy today. So yeah, let's get into it. United sources say the early impressions of Cunha and Brian Mbeumo have been positive. The pair have been described as good characters who are fitting in well and have injected new energy into the squad. So that's, like a nice positive story. Luckhurst saying a positive story as well. And I have to say, I don't know if you saw like Cunha's interview or the Cunha interview quotes, but very positive signs. I mean, you can just tell how much Cunha loves Manchester United. One of my favourite things that Cunha said in his interview today is, it's not pressure, it's a privilege to be in this club. I had to be here. What an answer that is. I don't know if he's really well media trained. I don't know if that's just how he thinks. But yeah, he spoke about how he always watched United on TV, how Manchester United was his dream club, that they should be fighting for every title. He understands the situation. He understands that we're building and he wants to be part of it, which was great to see. Amorim speaks about being happy with Cunha, being Premier League proven, the importance of that. But I have to say, I think Cunha nailed his interview today. He also talked about how he likes scoring goals. He's here to do his best. It's a privilege. It's a privilege, not pressure. And yeah, how things are going on as well. And he did even reveal that Amorim played a big role in his decision to join Manchester United. We've not heard as much from Mbeumo yet, but the guy's only just got in the door, believe it or not. It took 7 weeks. But Amorim spoke on this and said Mbeumo and Cunha could have gone to clubs in the Champions League. They read everything that is said about this club and they chose to come here. I mean, look, we read a lot of what's said about this club and a lot of it isn't good. A lot of it isn't nice. So the fact that, basically, Mbeumo had Arsenal and Newcastle that win for him, and Chelsea tried to hijack late and Tottenham were in for him. So that was every Champions League club bar City and Liverpool pretty much in for him. So wait, how many clubs are in the Champions League? City, Liverpool, Arsenal, Chelsea, Newcastle, Tottenham. Have we got 6 clubs in the Champions League yet? We actually do. That's mad. Sorry. I just realised that 6 is a lot. But yeah, basically 4 of those clubs were in for Mbeumo. Arsenal and Newcastle were in for Cunha as well. So the fact that they rejected Champions League clubs, for us, big. It wasn't just about wages. It's not like we were giving them anything ridiculous like we used to. We know we're trying to get the wage bill down. Both these players listened to Amorim, listened to Man United, read everything about us, saw how crap we were, saw how we finished 15th, and they both wanted to come to United. They both turned down bigger clubs for United, and it wasn't because of wages. And I think it's a massive green flag. And I do think sometimes when you buy players from, I say lower down Premier League clubs, but Brentford did finish above us. But when you buy players that are Prem proven from Premier League clubs that are not as big as Man United, that are ready to take that step up, they're always really keen to join Man United. Fergie used to sign the best of the rest, and I think it was a really good addition in there. But yeah, let's get into the news. Let's get into the stories. I want to talk about Emi Martinez, Amorim choosing him, Amorim choosing his next move, Garnacho, how it impacts the striker situation, and more. But before I get into that, let's talk about Amorim's answer. This is in regards to, obviously, Anthony, Sancho, Malacia, Garnacho. Amorim was asked about this. Any concerns that the value of players wanting to leave could be reduced? I understand maybe other clubs are waiting for the last minute, but they can have a surprise. I am ready to receive the players. They have more competition. If they want to play in the World Cup next year, they need to play, so I'm happy with that. I have more options, and if they fight for each other to play, that is perfect. Amorim has come out in a press conference and said, look, if we don't sell Garnacho Anthony, I'm happy to bring them back. That's more competition. That's more players for me. I'm not going to just let them go on loan and get nothing from it, because if we get to August 31st and we haven't sold Anthony and Betis are just offering us a loan, Amorim might be like, well, it's too late to get a replacement. the money we could have got for Anthony, we're going to invest in this. We might as well just keep Anthony and tell Betis to shove it. And then that also is a message for teams that try and do that in the future to us to tell them it might not work because that's happened to us twice with Sancho and now with Rashford. Maybe I like that Amorim is basically saying, like, look, we don't want the players back. Let's be honest. I don't think Amorim wants the players back. But if you act like you're happy to take the players back, all of a sudden it puts us in a stronger negotiating position. What's that noise? I don't know why there's a weird beeping noise going on. I think it's coming from outside. But basically, I like this answer for Amorim. I think this is a good answer. I think this is telling other clubs make a bid for our players. We're not going to give them to you on the cheap because we're desperate. Because I think that's what clubs are hoping to do. That's why I think there's nothing going on with Anthony and Sancho and Garnacho that's super advanced because I think they're waiting till we cave that we're so desperate we'll sell them for cheap. But anyway, let's talk about it because has Amorim decided his next signing? Reports are coming out that Manchester United are in formal negotiations to sign Emi Martinez. The Aston Villa rejected, the first loan offer. Martinez is chosen by Amorim. It's now coming out that Amorim has chosen Martinez to be his goalkeeper signing. Man United are now trying to get the deal done. They're trying to do it on loan. I still think there's a possibility we get Lemens, and Lemens is the most likely. I also have to say that a lot of this news is being pushed by Emi Martinez's agent trying to push the move, and Lemens is more affordable. Without a sale, I can't see us buying Emi Martinez. If we don't sell Onana, which we're not going to, I don't see us being able to bring in Emi Martinez. I think Lemens is a lot more affordable. He's on lower wages, and he will come in and replace Bendir and push Onana. I think Amorim would prefer Martinez, but I think we'll get Lemens. But Amorim looks like he sort of picked Martinez between the two keepers and wants him, if these reports are believed. And we know that we won't be able to sign a striker unless we sell Garnacho. And there is a suggestion that goalkeeper could very likely be our next signing. Striker and midfielder could be done later on, depending on sales. So Emi Martinez potentially is Amorim's next signing. You know, Amorim has chosen Emi Martinez according to reports, and this could potentially be the next signing. But let's talk about everything else going on. Let's talk about Lemens. Let's talk about Garnacho. Let's get some context. Manchester United have been monitoring Sen Lemens for nearly a season. He's eager for a move, and officials regard him as the perfect goalkeeping acquisition to meet their criteria. We like Lemens. The player wants us. The player, blah, 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 blah. I think we get Lemens. I think Emi Martinez is the ideal choice. I think we get Lemens. The player wants us. We want him. He ticks all the boxes. Bish, bash, bosh. I think a Bendir sale opens the door for Lemens. I think a Nana sale opens the door for Emi Martinez. I don't think a Nana's going to be sold. Of course, not much movement with Bendir, but things can develop really quickly. There's an expectation he will go. He's seeking minutes ahead of the World Cup. He wants to go. His agent is looking at that. But yeah, let's talk about Garnacho and what's going on there. Manchester United want to find a buyer for Garnacho by the start of August, hoping to raise funds for a new striker. Our window is pretty much shaped by Garnacho. If we sell Garnacho for 60 million, we could bring in Watkins, potentially, if Villa agree to sell. But also, I think we could bring in maybe a 20, 30 million midfielder. I'm not saying Baleba. I don't think that's going to happen. I think we'd have to sell. I think we'd have had sold Rashford for 40 million, Anthony, Sancho, all of them for potentially that. But I feel like it could give us scope because it's pure profit and we could just pay Watkins over 3 installments. I think it could give us scope for someone like a Javi Guerrera and someone like a Watkins. I think if you sell Garnacho, I think it shapes the window a lot. Now, Man United need this Garnacho buyer, and if we don't get that, I don't know if we sign a striker other than maybe Vardy or Dominic Calvert-Lewin. I don't know what we do if we don't sell Garnacho. I think Garnacho will go. Garnacho was told apparently by Amorim he'd better hope and pray he finds a new club. Garnacho's rejected clubs outside the Premier League because he's confident he's going to get that move. And interestingly, Laurie Whitwell said this. There is a sense that some players want to wait until the final stages of the transfer window, hoping their market value will decrease. There is belief Garnacho is prepared to wait and see what happens. However, his desire to play for Argentina in the World Cup remains a priority. So Garnacho potentially believes if he waits and waits and waits and waits, he'll lower his price and Chelsea or Villa or whoever he wants to go to will swoop him. Garnacho is turned down by Leverkusen and clubs outside the Premier League who were willing to do deals with him. So I think Garnacho's had some contact with a club, and I think that club has told him to wait. And I think he's had some confident contact with that club, if I'm going to be honest. And I think Garnacho will go, and I think he will be sold because I think something's gone on there. But it's a situation of just want him sold now, just want good money in so we can move on. because I don't think Amorim will bring him back if he stays. I think Amorim is done with him. I think Amorim would bring Anthony back because there was no beef there. Anthony just wasn't good enough. Whereas with Garnacho, he disrespected the manager. Like Sancho disrespected Ten Hag, but Ten Hag is gone. And Sancho has disrespected the fans, so we don't want Sancho back. But Sancho and Anthony, you could see Amorim bringing back. Malasa, you can see Amorim bringing back. There's no beef there. He has active beef with Garnacho. I still don't know if he brings Garnacho back, but Garnacho wants to play in the World Cup. He wants those minutes. So I do think surely Garnacho would then start pushing a move if he gets to the last week or two. Because I think Garnacho, though, staying at Man United probably isn't the best option for his World Cup chances. Also, Cunha and Mount will now be ahead of him in his best role, which, last but not least, a player that I've been worried about under Amorim because I think he's an unbelievable player and I rate him highly is Mainoo. Now, we know he needs to improve physically. He does look much physically better. I think good rest is good for him. Amorim said on Mainoo, I have big plans for him. He can play in both midfield positions. He's played higher up last season. His best position is to close the ball with the ball. He's a great talent. He needs to increase the tempo. I tell him all the time. Mainoo's best position is an 8 in a midfield 3 with a good 6 next to him that can cover lots of ground, has high tempo and all of that. That's how you get the best out of Mainoo. He's like Foden. He's got the ability, but he needs the right system to get the best out of him. I really hope Amorim can find a way to get the best out of Mainoo because I think he's an unbelievable talent. I want it to work in the pivot because I think he would help with our build-up issues, but he doesn't work with Bruno. He doesn't work with Ugarte. We almost need an Amadou Onana, Baleba type player to make it work. Let me know your thoughts. Thank you for watching. Bye.